Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video I'll be making this knife right here from Crucible steel, and in order to make the Crucible steel I have to first make my old forge worthy of melting some steel, so I'm going to have to flip it vertically and reline it, that way I can melt the steel and make this knife. Okay, so this is my old forge, but I have turned it this way, cast a bottom in it, and then redone the lining a little bit just so it's nicer. And this is going to be our forge or furnace or whatever you want to call it for actually doing our wootz melt. Should get hot enough. So here's the crucible we'll be using. It fits nicely down in there. Should be fine. I have also gotten this thing so that I can stick a thermocouple in it so I can hopefully know what temperature it is roughly. I'm not confident that's going to work out, but we will see. I also have to put the actual burner assembly on here. And most of that is parts from my current forge that I'm just going to have to swap over to this. So that should be pretty quick. I'll do that, and then we can start slowly bringing this thing up to temperature. I do have to cure the refractory a little bit more. So when I fire it up, I'm just going to let it come to temperature nice and slow. But anyways, yeah, this forge should work. I'm excited to see how this goes. Okay, so here's what we're actually going to be making the wootz out of. I have iron flake. This is basically just pure iron. Then I have W2, which is just kind of plain high carbon steel. I could use mild steel, but I figured I'd just use this. And then I have graphite for added carbon. And that's all going to go inside this crucible. And I'm going to have to put some glass on top. So now that we know what we're working with and where it's all going, I'm just going to start off with the iron flake. Figure that can go at the bottom. Figure I can put the graphite on top of that just so it's kind of not on top, kind of in the middle, just so it gets absorbed. And then, oh, this has got chunks in it. W2 on top of that. Hopefully this isn't too full. That's pretty full. I think that'll pack down. And then I can stick glass on top of this and we're going to be good to go. Alright, so this has been going for like 20 minutes now. I'm gonna just poke around in there with this and see if it feels molten at all. Oh, it's bright. Okay. Definitely not fully molten yet. Alright, it's been cooking for about an hour now. And as you can probably hear, it is loud and sounds kind of like an engine. So, I mean, it's definitely hot in there. It's just a question of if it's hot enough. I've been poking around with a rod of steel and it still seems to be not melted, which is unfortunate and I'm getting a little worried, but I'm just gonna keep running it, see if that changes. So yeah, really just waiting it out at this point. Alrighty, the thing is very hot over there. I'm going to poke around a little more and I think it's actually liquid this time. So let's go. Lots of heat coming out of this. Oh yeah. Still pretty warm. So I can grab it. Oh, yep, it's stuck to the bottom. Come on. Let's see how this goes. Look at that. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? That looks about how it should. It's either going to drop out nice or it's not. Okay, definitely has a pattern on the surface. That's really cool to see. There's definitely some sort of pattern going on in there, Not really sure if it's completely right, but there's something. So for now, I'm just gonna throw it in the forge, give it a 2-hour roast, and then begin whacking on it and see what happens. Okay, let's see. In here I have AAA quench oil. So that's great. That needs to warm up though because it's currently garage degrees cold, and it works best probably around 80 or 100 degrees. So I'm just gonna torch the side of this a little bit. Alrighty, oven's up to temperature. Stick that guy in there. Just wait for that to come up to temperature and soak for 5 minutes. Well, here's the blade. It has been ground to a nice high finish. I don't actually know the grit because the numbers wore off the belt, but it's either like an 800 or 1200 equivalent. So it's a nice, good finish. Before I go ahead and hand sand it though, I want to weld on this extra piece for more of a tang. I want to weld that on there just so I can have a full through tang that can be peened over on the other side. I think that'll just be a better way to put this all together. Alright, so we've got the blade and it's time to start thinking about the handle. For the bolster and probably the butt cap as well, I'm going to use this moose antler. So I'm just going to chop this chunk off here. I also have this block of stabilized spalted alder that a friend cut here. This is going to be real pretty stuff for the handle. So I'm going to use that and this, maybe some spacers, something like that. Not entirely sure yet. But I'm just going to get into it and cut off a piece right here to use. Alright, so I'm going to have some spacers between the moose antler bolster and the stabilized alder handle. So I'm going to have on either end one of these black G10 spacers. And then I also have this pile of birch bark that's going to go in between them. So I'm just going to drill some holes in these, get them stacked up on the knife, and then I can start working on the actual main part of the handle and the butt cap and all that. So, now what I've got to do is I have to etch the blade to bring out that wootz pattern. And once I've done that, I can glue it all up and get the thing finished up and stuck together and shape the handle and all of that. Alright, so the blade has been etched. This took a little bit of doing. I couldn't really get the actual wootz pattern to come out very well. I could see it when it was in the acid, and I got a couple of videos like along the way, but I could never get it to stick in like the final pattern. It would always just wipe away. So, don't have really the wootz pattern on here, but I do have a pretty nice hamon. Alrighty, this has glued up. Now I'm gonna zip this extra material off and peen the tang over. I'm probably only gonna leave like an 1/8 inch or even less material to peen over. Really don't need all that much. Then I'll peen it over, take this to the grinder, get this all ground up, and take this blade on a rectangle to a actual finished knife. And then, yeah, onwards from there. Well, the knife is all done. It came out really nice. I also made a sheath for it. I really like it a lot. I mean, the handle material combinations all look really good together. And even though I didn't get the real pattern that I wanted on the blade, it does have a really nice hamon on it. And it's still really neat. I like it. It's got a cool and kind of unique look anyways. Well, that's all I've got for now. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Go follow me on Instagram. And I'll see you on the next video.